I suggest you do a little soul-searching, 'cause to think you can have a so-called breakfast and totally ignore toast is just not normal. All right, honey? Bye-bye. I just read an article about a fellow who lost a tiny cell phone, and when he dialed his own number to try and locate it, he heard a ringing sound coming from his dog. He took the dog to the vet, and when they looked inside his stomach, there was the cell phone in his esophagus. You come falling right into the lap of Rudolph Giuliani. I told him, "You're a wonderful man for saving my daughter." And he looked at me as if to say it was nothing. And then he reached into like a plastic lunch bucket and offered me a hot dog. If, God forbid, you needed to get out of your apartment real fast and the elevators weren't running, maybe you ought to get yourself a parachute. I saw a parachute for $12.99, but I don't think it was a good one because it came with a set of matching pajamas.
To my mother, there are just two kinds of food. First, there's the food she prepares herself.
Oh, I'm stuffed to the gills. I broiled a beautiful fillet of sole, and I had some of my Jell-O mold that was so yummy. Just made a tasty turkey roast sandwich. I steamed up some broccoli that was so tender, and I made a delicious squash casserole.
And here's what she had to say about food prepared by others.
They served corned beef that was so fatty. They served turkey that was too pink and raw. They served carrots that were drowning in butter and corn on the cob that got stuck in my denture. The mushroom soup was bleh. The liver tasted more like a pancreas. The meatball could choke a horse. The matzo ball could choke 2 horses and a goat. They gave us string beans that were hard as a rock, the most revolting candied yams, and lox that was so salty I started to gag. Ooh, the muffin made me nauseous. The chow mein made me nauseous. The rice pudding made me nauseous. The layer cake made me nauseous. I ate the pumpkin pie and I thought I would throw up. Ugh. And their broccoli was so gassy, I was all verstunken. Excuse me.
There are lots of commercials for pharmaceutical products now with an older woman pushing an older man on a swing. Do older gentlemen like that? We've never had to wait our turn for a swing at the park behind an old guy. Excuse me, sir. My daughter has been waiting quite a while for the swing. Do you need help getting down? The slide is empty. The entire time they show the older woman pushing the older man, there's a voice talking quite fast, listing the potential side effects of pharmaphetahoudanine, but never any mention of why one might take it to begin with. What hideous disease could one be suffering from that makes it worth risking everything this cure could cause? Could cause hair loss, could cause dry skin, could cause blemishes, could cause memory loss, could cause paralysis, could cause loss of limbs, could cause weightlessness, could cause pregnancy, could cause hallucinations, could cause financial instability, not recommended for use during a person's lifetime. They say it all so dispassionately, as if any of those things are a reasonable price to pay. They never do testimonial ads with these drugs. Thanks to pharmaphetahoudanine, my skin is smooth and clear, and they say the incontinence will dissipate within a year of the last dosage. For my skin, it's worth it. When I'm able to leave the house again, I'll have that peaches and cream complexion. Oh, hold on a minute. I'll be right back. Just the mention of peaches makes my stomach... I gotta go. I never wanted to call the cops because I'd watched too many cop shows when I was a kid where the criminal gets agitated when his helpless female victim calls the cops and he grabs her from behind and says, "You called the cops, didn't you?" Remember Mannix? That guy sure could run in shiny shoes. His secretary got kidnapped every few episodes. Her name was Peggy. She was African American, which was a big breakthrough for television because it was still awfully white back then. Peggy kept getting kidnapped, though, which I don't think was such a good representation. Private Detective Joe Mannix would come back from lunch, and Peggy would be missing again. It happened so often that right beside the in-basket on her desk, she had a basket labeled, "Ransom Note Here." He always had to get her back because she was one of only 2 black women on television. Still, by about mid-season, he seemed to be getting annoyed with her. "Peggy, you want to check the peephole before you open the door? And how about you don't order out anymore?" You can't really blame him. He got knocked out with the butt of a pistol every few episodes. He came to on the couch, rubbing his head with the screen all blurry so many times he started to get grumpy.